Hey, 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 hey. What's poppin'? Tonight we're talking about book marketing. We're going to talk about specifically phase 1, awareness. What's up? What's up? Oh, that's cute. Okay. Wow, Gia, I'm so shocked. You made a whole outfit. All right, girl. No, don't. Let me do my live, girl. That's my daughter. What's up? Come on in. I'm trying to figure out how to get this up here. Let's see. Oh, bam. Okay. There it is. Hey, hey, hey. So this is what we're talking about tonight. I really don't want myself up there. Let's see if I can change it. No. Okay. There it is. That's fine. This is basically what we're going to be talking about tonight. Book Marketing 101, offers, and phase 1, which is awareness. I'm just going to jump right into it. And I will save this live. I plan to be on here for a little bit. Y'all, I've been doing pretty good. I'm really proud of myself. Today, I was like, I gotta get on Instagram live. The last couple of days, I've been doing good about showing up here and just sharing. And even if it's a mess, we are just going to share. Because my thing is, and I've always stood by this, if you're going to fail, you might as well fail fast. And so even though it might not seem like a failure, I know for a lot of people, it's really difficult to get on live and just talk and share their ideas. It can be. And so I've been used to sharing my ideas via a author interview, like doing author interviews, and that was cool. I'm still doing that. So if you're an author and you are looking to be interviewed, click the link in the bio to set that up. There's a $20 fee. And so let me know if I can help you with that. But this is different for me. But one thing that people have always told me is they have told me that they have always felt like I was a mentor. And while I never tried to do that, are we back? Okay. Being a mentor to people is not something that I was trying to do. It just sort of happens just in my field as a book publisher. I find myself sharing a lot of what I know with my authors and the people that I work with. And so I thought, well, what the heck? I can get on Instagram Live, share what I know. If you've seen my post earlier, hey, what's up? If you seen my post earlier, I was talking about how reframing this idea of marketing and seeing it as me sowing seeds, seeing it as me putting out positive energy, putting out value, and things like that. When I reframed the way that I see marketing, it became something, or it's becoming something that I'm more excited to do. I'm more excited to get on here. I was like, I cannot let the day pass. Y'all, I struggled through a freaking headache again today, which I'm like, let me stop playing with my health. I've seen too many things where people totally ignored these signs, and now they're either one, no longer with us, or two, they are in somebody's hospital. And I keep seeing that, and I'm like, okay, God, let me get it together. I'm pretty sure, it could be a lot of what I'm eating, a lot of probably dealing with stress and just needing to relax a little bit. But it's so weird, when you're in this, it's like a weird transition period for me. We're going to get into the lesson, but I want to share this. It's like a weird transition period for me because I'm like, dang, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to lean in. I just got this new information. I feel good about sharing. I feel good about doing more with my business. And then my body's like, no, we're tired. We got a headache, stuff like that. And I'm like, dang. And so it's just been like a weird dance. And so anyway, we're going to get through it. I was like, I'm still going to show up tonight. I'm going to take a little nap, do what I got to do, hydrate. I've been drinking water, and things like that. So I'm feeling good right now. You said, I just finished my first book and I'm currently researching the best way to get it edited and published. Yeah, definitely take your time with that. Make sure you're in the know. I always tell authors, listen, before you even decide to hire someone, check them out. And make sure that you're in the know about different terms. There's different types of editing. There's copy editing, there's developmental editing, there's proofreading. So you want to make sure that you're hip to these different terms, because your editor's going to ask you, oh, what kind of editing do you want? And this is just a question, y'all, I'm answering, and we'll get to book marketing. So they'll ask you, what kind of editing do you want? So you want to make sure, oh, I want this kind. You don't want to be like, oh, I don't know, I'm a newbie, because a lot of times when you're coming to the table and you don't know what it is that you want, that's a setup to be taken advantage of. And in this day and age where people trying to get it how they live, you want to make sure that you're in the know, so that way that you're not taken advantage of. And so that way you also know what to ask for, and just so that way you know, and you can be able to ask questions, because you're going to want to work with an editor who is more knowledgeable than you, or at least is on the same level as you and knows what they're talking about, and they can explain their process to you. And you also want to make sure that you're working with some sort of written agreement, something like that. And so do that. Definitely check out your different publishing options. I am a publisher, so I'm going to go ahead, plug myself in there. Let me know how I can help you. Definitely follow. On my social medias is where you will find a ton of information. Like I said, when I started, I'm ready, you guys, I'm ready. But I also am working through some health things. And so I'm getting it out as fast as I can. I've been using this program called Later. I don't know if you have heard of it, later.com. It's you're welcome. Later.com is, I'm not sponsored by them or nothing, so this is just a plug, just a free game. If you are looking to get consistent with showing up, with doing your content marketing, check them out. Later.com. Like, see you later. Yeah. Later.com. Check it out. That's a platform that I've been using, and I have one of their premium plans, y'all, and it allows me to post on 3 different platforms up to, I think, like 470 pieces of content automatically in 30 days. And so if you start seeing me on your timeline more often, it's just because I'm trying to get a bang for my buck. So if I'm using all of my plan on later.com, that allows me to post 470 times automated, 470 pieces of content, I said, that's what I'm challenging myself to do come August, is to post 470 pieces of content. The daily breakdown is around 15 posts a day. I figure if I post once every hour, starting at 7 a.m. and ending around 9 p.m., I've got it in the bag. And so that goes perfectly into what I'm talking about tonight, is phase 1 awareness. I know if you've been researching like marketing or anything like that, you've definitely heard people say post, right? And not just 3 times a day. It's not just 3 times a day, guys. No more. I mean, and, people can argue that, oh, well, Aurelia, that's a scarcity mindset. You feel like you have to post. You don't have to do that. Listen, again, when I started this live, I said what? I said, to me, I reframed marketing and I see it as sowing seeds. So I'm going to sow. And that's something, if you think of sowing in the terms of gardening, in most cases, gardeners don't just sow one seed and hope and wish that one seed is going to give them what they need. Okay, you feel me? And so I'm like, well, if I post 15 times a day for 30 days, something's going to shake. Something's going to happen. And this awareness phase 1 is going to take care of itself. Right now, I'm like, earlier today, I was like, dang, how come my Instagram is not getting a lot of traction? Well, I did slow down as far as posting. I know I had reposted something from TikTok, and Instagram was like, no, you cannot do that. We don't want to see like TikTok's watermark on that. So I figured that out. And so just, that's another tip, is if you're repurposing content, which you should be, if you're repurposing content from another platform, make sure that that platform's watermark is not on there. These platforms do not like when we do that, but right now I'm a solopreneur, so each audience is going to get the same thing almost. And so let's get into it. So your offers as a author can expand beyond just the book. The book is definitely going to be one of the things that you offer your readers, but it can expand beyond the book. And I'm talking about, you can include like worksheets, you can include, coloring pages, any sort of other form of content you can start doing. I was telling someone, well, maybe they should try creating like a Discord community, just other ways to be creative, and having other things to offer their readers. When you do your research and you're looking at some of these best-selling authors, they usually never just have one book. You know what I mean? And so I'm always telling authors, okay, after your first book, when is going to be your second book? And one of my goals at Win Publications is to work with a full service distributor. And so right now I'm working with Amazon. I'm working with a platform called Ingram Sparks, Barnes & Noble, Nook even is another platform to publish on. But my goal is to work with a full service distributor, and their requirements are: one, you have to have sold, I think it's like $250,000 worth of books. Okay, of books, $250,000 worth of books. And you have to have pretty much like a schedule of like how you publish books, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm good on the schedule of books. As a publisher, I'm always publishing books. My average books per year is about 16. So that's awesome. That's great. My goal is to get to 35. And so I'm on my way there. And then as far as the 250K, we are working on it. I think that, as a business owner also, I've been taking classes as far as like, how do you level up? How do you go from a 5-figure earner to a 6-figure earner? And the biggest difference is having a team. Yes, can you earn 6 figures by yourself? Absolutely. But a lot of times when people are doing that, they are delegating a lot of their work, right? And so and that's what I've learned. And so I've been doing this Project 129 challenge where I'm trying to make $300,000 in 129 days. Guys, I'm like on day like 97, 98, and I still got like $296,000 to go. Okay. But I'm like, okay, it's not zero. I've made some progress, but I still got a long ways to go. But that was one of the things that in my like taking courses and studying is, really delegating and really having to kind of take a pay cut to pay other people, so that way I can lean more into the marketing aspect. And so that's like the transition that I'm in, still kind of balancing both jobs. My goal is to show up here more, market more, sew more, so that way I can, I fully expect that what I put out, I'm going to get back in the form of payment, in the form of connections, in the form of new authors, whatever it may be. I'm open to it, but I feel like I need to step up and do that. And so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing here. And so I am sharing my story with you. Just maybe you'll get some tidbits from that. Maybe you will, when we get off of here tonight, or when you watch this replay, you'll think, okay, marketing really isn't that hard. And especially as writers, especially as creators, tell us more about this project goal. Yeah, so Project 129 is, it was first started, it was a challenge that I took on, and I'm actually working on a blog post about all of this because, man, okay, let me tell you, I was a girl, okay, we're gonna go there. So I was a girl who grew up in the suburbs, all the way. California girl, grew up in the suburbs, never been in the hood in my life until I moved to Long Beach, lived there for a couple months. I had to get up out of there. And I'm just keeping it real. My family, we grew up in Orange County, California, which is not predominantly African American, okay? And my family will tell you, my dad and my uncles, they did well in sports, but they were the only 3 black men at their school. And so, okay, just keeping it real. But I was a kid who, because I grew up in such a pretty good neighborhood, when I went to college, I was seeking a thrill. I was just so bored with safety. I was so bored with calm and peace, not knowing what I had. And so I wanted a life of thrill. And so I've dated, okay, we just gonna go there because this is also a part of a book that I'm writing. And so we can go there tonight. I dated, I live in Irvine. I get what you're saying as well. Yeah, so you get what I'm saying, okay? There's only like 8 black people in all of Irvine. No, I'm just kidding. But it's, the demographics is, it's a little interesting. Okay. But, so I dated the drug dealers. Okay. I sure did, because I thought it was exciting. And that led to a lot of toxic relationships, a lot of terrible experiences, made a lot of money, seen a lot of money come through my bank account, okay, and so on and so forth. But now we're grown, we're no longer doing that. I'm in my soft girl era, not really, but I'm just saying, and so there's been a lot of growth. But what I'm saying is, I've always been someone who's like a thrill seeker. And so for me, doing these business challenges, I'm like, that's checking that box for me. Right? So I no longer look for thrills in relationships. I actually look for thrills in business. And so I decided, okay, I can do the Project 129 challenge, which is a challenge that I started towards the end of April. I seen that these college kids were trying to make some money because they didn't want to go back to college. They just wanted that 6-figure, 7-figure life that everybody and their mama has on Instagram or social media or whatever. And so they were like, okay, in 129 days, we're going to make 300K. This is how we're going to do it. Stay tuned. And they shared their journey for a little bit. And I was doing that every day, sharing my journey. But then I was like, okay, I don't have anything to share every day. So I've been kind of updating y'all periodically. And so that reminds me, I probably need to go ahead and do that, since I see that you're so interested. And what's also interesting on my website, because I've also been documenting my journey on my website, misswin.com. That's been one of the most popular pages on my website. And I'm like, what? I publish books. Why don't y'all go look at that stuff? But people are really interested. Maybe other people are really interested in just these different challenges. And so I actually started a couple of other ones. I love that. Did you create No, I didn't create the challenge myself. This was from other creators. I just said, okay, well, as a business owner, my goal is to make my business profitable and sustain itself. And so one thing that I've learned, especially in the last 4 months, is that sometimes business has slow seasons, and that's where I've been, which it might not seem like that. There's a lot of things going on, but financially, when I'm looking at my cash flow chart and my cash flow projections, it's looking a little scary. Okay. But I am a woman of faith, and I believe that, like I said, when we first started, that you reap what you sow. And so I'm here doing my part, sharing. Content creation is hard. It is hard because it challenges you to show up and express yourself. And for a lot of us, that's something new. I was meeting with the author the other day, and I asked her if she would jump on and do a live with me. And she was like, no. She was like, no, but I'm going to try it. And so I'm like, okay, well, whenever you feel like it, we can get on live, to bring awareness for her book and to bring awareness for herself. Because if you're not, my thing is, I've had a lot of opportunities given to me with even what I feel like is with the little that I've done, have gotten speaking engagements. I've hosted events by myself. I've, done all of these wonderful things that seem like it's just a part of who I am. But when I talk to other people about it, they're like, mind blown. Like, what? You did that? Yeah, I did. I thought that's just what people do. know it's not what people just do. And so, but I did that because I was online. You have to get online and share your stuff, especially if you have big dreams. One author is like, Aurelia, I want to turn my book into a movie. And I'm like, okay, well, we got to get over this fear of you being seen. Your book is not going to be a movie if you're hiding and you're not wanting to do the work. And sometimes we hide behind this reason of, oh, well, I don't know what to do. Well, just start doing stuff. Just start doing stuff. Learn what to do. Pay for courses. You know, I was talking to my stepdad, my bonus dad, and my biology. I'm blessed to have two dads, a bio dad and a stepdad that's very active in my life. And I was talking to my stepdad about it all, and he said, yeah, he makes $60 an hour. He's a software engineer. And he's like, I make $60 an hour and I still purchase courses to stay up to date on my craft because nobody's going to catch me slipping. You know, that's what, ain't nobody going to catch me slipping. So I'm like, okay. And this man, he got it. He probably is good. He's probably set. But that's what I'm saying, you know, and okay, he does have the resources to be able to purchase courses, but there's something out there for everybody. It's just a matter of finding them, investing in yourself, and knowing that when you sow into yourself and you start pouring out that information that you've learned and you share that with others, guess what? It's going to come right back to you. And that's what I believe for myself. And so that's what I believe for everybody else. Is there a particular time to start marketing your book? Right away, because gaining awareness is difficult. And that's the difficult part, I think, about content creation. Even now, even though I've made 5 figures last year in my business, to me, that's not enough to do the things that I want to really do. It's good. It's replaced my day job. I make as much as a teacher makes a year. And so as a single mama, okay, you know, just keeping it real, but is that really going to be enough to take myself and my authors where we want to go? Hell no, it's not. It's just not. But is there more out there? There's always more. There's always more. There's always more. And so that's what brings me peace, is just knowing that there's always more. I'm not chasing a rabbit. I'm actually not chasing anything. I'm attracting by just being a good person, you know. And so you should start as soon as you have the idea, as soon as you have a book cover, as soon as you can decide that you're committed to this thing called your book. That's when you should start talking about it. And I highly recommend authors share their journey from day one. And even if you fall off, which I've fallen off many times, I've been working on this dang book that I've got that won't let me go. This dang book has me in a chokehold, and I am just indecisive on how I want to write the story. I still don't know, but it's gonna come to me. But just document your journey from day one, that when you first get the idea, and just start recording it. Even if you set up your phone, get you a little stand, or if you don't even got a stand, you got a phone. Obviously you got a phone, so you can set your phone up, put it up against the cup, record yourself. You don't even have to say anything. You can record yourself typing at your thing, typing at your desk, your table, whatever, and maybe do a voiceover and just tell people, hey, my name is so-and-so, and today's day one of me pursuing a book publishing career. Follow me, hit that follow button, hit like, and stay tuned for more. Right? And if you just continually do that and continually to be consistent with it, and that's another thing, that's so, okay, we're gonna get there. I'm getting ahead of myself. But if you can do that, but one thing that helps me is these different challenges. And so back to the Project 129 challenge, that challenge really helped me. And I've been working on this blog, but let me tell you guys, I started thinking about it because I think I have like 31 days left of this Project 129 challenge, which I'm so proud of myself. The other day I shared a post about being so self-critical, and it's so goofy when I really sit down and self-reflect on how much I've actually done as one person, as a single mama with my daughter home all day with me every day, I've actually been able to get a lot done. Let me see, where did I put my notes? Because of the Project 129 challenge, because I took it seriously. That's another thing. We have to start taking this stuff serious, because when I say I don't want to go back to work, I do not want to go back to work. I do not want to be at nobody's job. I'd rather be home stressed out trying to figure out how I'm going to get my book in front of more people. That's what I would rather do. And so I said, you know what? When people talk about sacrifices that you make, sometimes, okay, them sacrifices, baby, are hard on, your self-concept. But because we know that it's not going to be easy, we can take peace in knowing that, you know what, just like I'm the creator of these books, I'm also the creator of my life. And I can choose to see myself as whoever I want to see myself as in my imaginary worlds. And I can operate in that, and I can keep moving forward. And that's how I roll. Am I like being tossed with the wind sometimes? Heck yeah. But that's life. Okay. And I allow myself to be. But these are my notes here. From this is my notes for my blog post that's going to go up. But because of Project 129, even though I still have like $294,000 to raise by September 1st, which is easy. It's easy. Okay, this is what we're telling ourselves. That's easy. I've still done a lot. Yeah, I've still done a lot. When I first started, I said, okay, I'm going to use a marketing funnel. So what's a marketing funnel? A marketing funnel is just the different strategies, the different tactics that you take, the different actions that you take to reach your customer, your reader, on whatever phase that they find you in. So they go from not knowing you to knowing you and advocating for you. And I've been able to do that several times over, because one of my biggest lead generators is word of mouth. Every year I look back, one of my biggest lead generators is word of mouth. And my people will send a screenshot like, Miss Wynn, I plugged you in, girl. And I'm like, yes, let's go. Is that enough? Honestly, it's gotten me to 5 figures. So I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. Hear me. I'm so grateful. But is it enough to take us to where we want to go? It's not enough. I cannot rely on word of mouth. I remember I had this opportunity to take a master class with Blake Lively, who she is the founder of one of the shapewear companies. I don't know if y'all know. Anyway, she's one of the founders of a shapewear company, and she said for 14 years, word of mouth is how her company got by. So I'm like, okay, all right, so maybe it is enough. But she was like, hell no, that wasn't enough. She had to get other people involved in order to get her shapewear into Neiman Marcus. She had to get a team together, and in order to get a team, you're gonna need some more resources, okay? And it's just a fact of life. It's just a given. And so in order to, there's different ways. Of course, if you are on, Instagram, any platform, people are always talking about business credit. People are always talking about having a business plan. I've taken many business courses, and on the 5th or something, I have a meeting with an organization out here in Florida where I am. And we're going to get it. We're going to get it. It's time. And so I just added that to, one of the ways that I am going to meet my goal. And so we'll see what happens, but I am holding on to that idea, you guys, that, yeah, even though I have like 31 days left, it's still very possible. And I can't even think about, well, what if I don't make it? I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about that. I want to just think about what it will look like when I make it. I want to think about when I think about reaching my goal of making $300,000 in 129 days, which is the Project 129. When I think about it, I envision myself being on here like I am now, telling you guys, we did it, and just being super psyched, and a little one of these numbers, a little music on, and celebrating, you know what I'm saying? And so that's a vision that I hold on to, you guys. When it gets rough, when it gets rough, and it gets rough, okay? It gets rough. If you've ever been in the customer service field working with other people, it's the same. It's the same as a book publisher. And I'm not talking crap on any of my writers, but it just is a given. If you're working with people, it's going to be tough. And it really tests like your tenacity. It tests like if you're really serious about this thing, because there could have been, I could have been closed my business down around this time last year because I had an author who wanted to sue me because this person was making inappropriate passes at me, and I told them that they needed to stop. Anyway, long story short, it was taken care of. It was taken care of. Their contract was terminated. We no longer work together. But as someone who has already dealt with toxic relationships, that really affected me. And I was gone. I wasn't even really online for a good 5-6 months. But at the end of it, y'all, I still made my 5 figures, even though I was gone for 5 or 6 months. And how did I do it? Word of mouth. And so I was just freaking mind blown when I finally came out of that sadness of having someone that I thought was I could trust and stuff like that, and for them to behave that way towards me, and for things to have to unravel like that with my business with that particular person, that really affected me. But I also seen that I'm not here. I'm not doing this by myself, that the authors that I work with, they do really value what it is that I bring to the table. And so I kept going, and it took being in a community. I don't care what people say, oh, get by yourself. Isolation is for elevation. I guess for some people, that's never worked for me. I'm already pretty dang secure by myself. For me, elevation, and with every teaching that I've learned about business, in order to get to that next step, is going to take community. It's going to take some help. Okay. And so that's where I'm at today. It's going to take some help. It's going to take some collaboration. It's going to take you taking a pay cut and paying some people. It's going to take all of that. And so, yeah, you're never alone. Community is everything. Absolutely. Community love. Man, that's where you can find, the most opportunities, is getting in these different writing communities, getting, in these different Facebook groups. Y'all, being in these different Facebook groups has generated a lot of income for myself as a publisher. That has helped. But even for the authors that I work with, one author, she had a book about ADHD, and her book was a Amazon bestseller for 3 weeks. Okay, and she didn't offer it for free or nothing like that, although that is a strategy. Okay, that is a strategy. Offer your book for free for 5 days on Amazon, ebook, do it and see what happens. And market and tell people that that's what you're doing and see what happens. But she didn't do any of that. What she did was she got into a group that was closely related to what her children's book was. And whenever the opportunity presented herself to plug her book, that girl was plugging her book, which is absolutely another strategy to bring awareness to your book, is getting in Facebook groups that are related to maybe the umbrella subject of your book. And so you have to know what it is that you're offering, which is the first arrow. What are you offering? What are you offering than just a story? It has to be more than that. Why am I reading your book out of the thousands of books on there? You have to know what it is that you're giving your reader, and it has to be something worthwhile other than just peace and relaxation. It has to be more than that. It got to be more than that. It just does. It's just a given. And when you can pull that out and say, okay, well, my book gives readers, by the time that they get to the end of this book, they are going to know how to do XYZ, or they're going to be so deep in self-reflection, or they're whatever it is, and so pulling that out and really thinking about it and saying, okay, I love your superpowers and your sharing tonight. Please, bros. Absolutely. I will check you out. Rock the vote. Okay, let me write you down. I will check you out. So you have to know that information. And because you're all literary geniuses and you're all nice with your words. Obviously, if you got a whole book and you're writing books and you're telling stories, obviously you're nice with the words. It then becomes about creating messages around those themes that your book is about. I recommend finding at least 3 themes, and we call those content pillars. And those 3 things are going to be the 3 things that you talk about. And so for me, the 3 things that I talk about obviously is book publishing. And you guys have heard me, maybe you haven't heard me, but I try and incorporate it in my messaging on Instagram. And it's just write, publish, sell. Write, publish, sell. Write, publish, sell. And those are the 3 things that I talk about. Every now and then I will share, my personal stories and things like that. That's just my brand personality, which is another key thing to think about when you're marketing your books. Who is it that you want to show up as online? And is this a make-believe character, which is fine? Have you seen those little AI characters on TikTok? What? If you don't, what? Okay, and you don't even got to do all of that. You don't got to be doing, I almost want to say stupid SHIT, but I'm not going to call it that. You don't have to do that, right? People are getting it how they live. That's fine. But you don't have to do that. You can create a character and you can show up as that character on Instagram. People, again, social media for me is a way for me to share my value. It's a way for me to share my ideas. It's a way for me to share what I'm doing. And it's a way for me to share my creativity. I take time with doing my posts. I use Canva to create content. And so that's another thing. If you're looking like, dang, how do you create content? You can use Canva. I do have the paid version, which is like $12 a month. Okay. Investing in yourself. It's worth it. To me, it's worth it because I use it every day. And even more so now, another one of the challenges that I started doing, just because I love challenges and I love the thrill of trying to reach a goal. To me, it's really exciting. It's what I've done, instead of being in toxic relationships, because toxic relationships can be thrilling. But as a healed woman and healing woman, I'm no longer available to relationships that bring me nothing but chaos. I need peace. I need peace. I can be a man's peace, but I need him to be peaceful his dang self. That's where I'm at. As a single woman. Okay. That's where I'm at. But what I'm saying is you can decide who you want to show up as. You can decide whether you want to show up as yourself, which is absolutely fine. Let people fall in love with who you really are. And maybe that's something that you value. Maybe that's your brand value, which is authenticity, which you have to, another thing that I shared last week, I had a whole series on branding. Think about your brand, think about your mission, think about your vision, think about your 3 values. Okay, maybe authenticity is one, maybe creativity is another, maybe social, social civic engagement, whatever. Maybe you really care about, local issues, whatever. Pick 3 things and make that your brand values, because having brand values is also going to be how you get brand deals. If you're all over the place and you're not organized and you don't know these things and you don't have that and you're not putting that out there in the world via marketing, it's going to be hard for you to gain awareness. It's going to be hard for you to get those opportunities because you're not sharing who you are. You're not sharing your brand values. You're not sharing your personality. Listen, I know I'm quirky. I know it. I've always been that kid. I've always been the kid in class who talked too freaking much. Who thought everything was a joke, didn't take many things seriously. But where did that get me? I got in trouble in the 3rd grade, and I've been telling my daughter this. She knows this story. She could probably tell you this story herself. In the 3rd grade, I would get in so much trouble for talking too much, okay? I just would get my work done, and then I would be trying to talk to everybody. And so they put me in a, my daughter came in and said, it's true. They put me in a speech and debate team. And so I'm so grateful that they did that. They put me in a speech and debate team. at the age of 8 years old, and that followed me all throughout college, and even past college. I got my first paid speaking gig right after I graduated college, and I'm still friends, or I'm still associates with the person who put on the conference that I was speaking at, and to this day that person is my mentor, and I can call them and ask them anything. And so I'm just saying, you can absolutely be yourself and it can work for you. But if you don't want to be, hell, you don't have to be, right? We have choices. If something is not working for you, I'm a strong believer in try something else. Try something else, especially if you're serious about your book publishing journey. What you start out with might not be what you end up with. And I know this from experience. I started out thinking that I just wanted to be a best-selling author. This was in 2014. And even before that, I thought I wanted to be a fashion journalist. I was going to school to get a degree to work for Vogue. Okay, I sure was. But in pursuing that, I found that I didn't really like the structure of journalism. I didn't really like the structure of news writing, of fashion writing. It all just seemed so boring a little bit. Although going to the different parties and the media things, I had the opportunity to do that. That was a lot of fun. The networking and all that stuff, it was a thrill. It sure was a thrill. But it wasn't what I wanted to do forever. And so I remember telling my journalism teacher, I said, I think I want to just pursue being an author. I want to be a best-selling author. What do you think I should do? And she said, well, I think that you should maybe go work for a book publishing company. And so I said, okay. And so she helped me. We were looking for book publishing companies that were needing people to work for them. And I found my first gig in the book publishing industry as an editor. I worked with this publisher for maybe a year or so. Before we went our separate ways, I was trying to make inputs for how she can up her marketing, because business had started to slow down. She didn't like that. We went our separate ways. I worked for another lady on her book editing. And so I did editing for a good 2 years. Didn't do anything with it for another 2 years after that. And then I had a cousin say, hey, I have a book idea. Will you publish it? And I thought, what the hell? I had never mentioned to her that I wanted to be an author myself. And I had never mentioned to her that I might know how to do it. I worked with a publisher, and I was kind of keeping up with her process subconsciously, never really putting much thought into it. My thing is, I wanted to pitch my book to her. But because we just didn't see eye to eye on how she was running her business, which was my oversight, I was overstepping her boundaries, which I learned later. But my cousin was like, will you publish a book for me? And I'm like, okay, I guess so. I'm like, okay, what, so I started looking into what is a part of the book publishing process. And then she was like, well, will you start a company? Because she wanted her book to be legitimate. Whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do it. At this time, I was very much a people pleaser. I was saying yes to whatever. But it all worked out. It all worked out for my good, because that was almost 6 years ago now. It'll be 6 years in January that I've been a publisher at Win Publications, doing the thing, relying on collaboration, every year working on bringing more awareness to my book publishing company, every year working on bringing more awareness to the authors that I work with. Finally, 5 years and 7 months, I'm freaking clear. I have a whole plan right here it's in my little black notebook, right? This is it. My whole plan is right here. Bam. It's called The Author's Guide to Branding, Marketing, and Success. And this is what we're going through. This is what I'm about to give you guys right now on social media, from the top all the way through, because what I had was just different pieces, right? Of course you get, you got to do your book marketing, but nobody ever really tells you how. Okay. Which is super annoying. And then, you got to get on, people want you to be on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, I just started getting into Pinterest, which Pinterest is a gold mine. If you have a website, I'm telling you, get on Pinterest. But how does it all connect? And so when I finally seen how it all connected, which they all connect with a marketing funnel, baby, it was a game changer. It was a game changer. So I was like, boom, phase 1, Win Publications. We are focused on phase 1, which is bringing more awareness, which is what we're talking about tonight. And we bring more awareness to our brands by content marketing, you guys. We gotta post, we gotta get on our Zoom, we gotta share what we know in the form of content. Share something, right? And earlier, if you're just now getting in, we've already said that we are going to really think about reframing how we see marketing. Give it more weight. For me, when I decided that marketing was going to be the way that I share value, marketing was going to be the way that I sold, and that just comes from, you reap what you sow. If I want to reap 6-figure blessings, if I want to reap more awareness for my brand, if I want to reap, all these different things, my $300,000 goal, I better start sowing more. I better start. And that's my conviction. I'm not saying that's something that convicts you or should convict you. You gotta search your heart and say, okay, what's it gonna take? What's it gonna take for you to market your book? What's it going to take for you? And as creatives, right, if you can publish a whole book, that's what I think. Anyways, you can tell me if I'm wrong. That's what I think. If you can write a whole book, you can see a whole book through. If you can see 5-6 books through, however many books that you have, if you can see that through, then how many stories can you tell about that book? That's what I tell my authors. How many stories can we tell about this book? What can we say? What can we say about you, the author? Why did you do this? And can we expand upon that why, and create more things? Authors, your mind is a beautiful thing. And sometimes we just need guidance to figure out, okay, how do I use it? What do I focus on? Because like I said, for 5 years and 7 months, I had all the pieces. They were just freaking scattered until I started really investing in myself and investing in classes and courses. Then I was like, oh, okay, marketing funnel. That's how you put it all together. In a marketing funnel, you have your top, which is the building awareness. Then you have your middle, which is the consideration. And then you have your bottom, which is the conversion, which is they purchase from you. And then after that purchase, you want to make sure that you're delivering what you said you were going to deliver, because then at the very bottom is advocacy, right? And at the very bottom is when people start recommending your book, recommending your brand, recommending whatever it is that you have to offer. Maybe, your focus is no longer on your book. Maybe you want to be a speaker. People start recommending you to be a speaker because you have successfully took them from not knowing about you to knowing about you to considering you to work with, to be someone that they work with. And then they work with you and you deliver a freaking excellent service or an amazing book or amazing whatever it is that they were looking for. You did that thing and now they sing your praises. Now they leave you those book reviews. Now they want to connect you with someone that they know that can help you get to your next goal. And it can just snowball from there. And next thing you know, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Sky's the limit. Maybe your book will turn into a movie, whatever it is. You're going to reach your goals. But it has to start with you showing up. It has to start with you really focusing on phase 1. How can I bring more awareness to my brand? How can I bring more awareness to my book? And really thinking about that, brainstorming it, and then executing, and then implementing it. What would I be, or you know what I mean? Like, what kind of person gets all this knowledge and then doesn't implement it? And it talks about that in this one book. I know it does talk about, there's a lot of hearers and there's only a few people that will actually do the things that they hear. And those people that do what they hear, they are going to be those that are really satisfied with their life because they got out of their comfort zone. And let's be clear, people act like when you get out of your comfort zone, yeah, it's hard, but it's let's talk about that. Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. It is uncomfortable. I am uncomfortable, y'all, trying to reach this 6-figure goal when I've only made 5 figures every year, which is about a couple of grand a month. To someone, that's a blessing. To someone, that replaces their job. I'm very much grateful, but I'm saying in order to get to my 6-figure goal, I had to invest in myself. I had to tag in some other people to help me with things that I cannot do. Lately, I've been getting headaches more frequently. And so it's like, I gotta rely on people. I gotta rely on other people to help me. And so, is it difficult? Hell yeah, it's difficult. But you know what? I'm having fun with it. What?
I need paper.
You need paper? Yeah. Right now? You can't wait.
No. I'm
Go ahead, G.
my best friend.
All right. My daughter just came in. You can do this. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. But that's what I'm saying. People try and act like this ain't hard. It's hard. And nobody really ever talks about that in between time. Yes, you might have the goal. You might be gung-ho and excited. I was so excited when I started Project 2129. I'm still excited about it, but it has been difficult. But I did start by saying, this is what I do. This is what I do. I started saying about all the things that have happened since then. So since then, since April 27th of this year, in pursuit of having a 6-figure month, or 6 figures in 4 months rather, I've started a literary magazine, which I'm looking for writers. I've started and have launched digital products, which everything that we're talking about and we'll talk about as marketing has already been done for you, and you can purchase that on misswin.com. I've gained clarity on marketing and can now voice what I know, because I've been talking about it, but I've been talking about it in a very scattered way. Now that I have connected the dots for myself, I can help you connect the dots. I've started new services. As far as, so one of the things that I now offer is for anyone really, is my affiliate program. Because word of mouth is one of my biggest lead generators, I started offering for people who refer successful authors to me, as in they sign and they pay off their bill. I'm giving them between 5 and 8% of the between 5 and 8% commission. And so the 8% commission is for the authors that I'm publishing, and then the 5% commission is for the public. And so if you know somebody that would be a good author when publications out there, let me know. You can earn 5% of whatever it is that they're paying me. Not only that, I have launched, and it will be going on pre-orders on Monday. I have done my first anthology, which I organized, and it's a passion project, which means we're just going to put it out there for the low. I started building a community. I started to create a Discord, but then I just said, you know what, let me hold up on that. I started looking into it more. I want to make sure that I really spend more time on building my brand and building awareness before I actually really take off with Discord, because that's a whole beast of its own. I started doing more challenges, which are really exciting for me. Even though it's hard, I love a thrill. I started this live by telling y'all I love a thrill. I know that. And so for me, challenges really help me check that box of a thrill, but it also pushes me, and it helps me focus, and it inspires me. And so, it's caused me to want to do more challenges. It's encouraged me to keep my word and actually follow through and not to self-sabotage. Let me see, there have been slow seasons, and I feel like it, and those connected to me feel it, and pressure to push. Yeah, even in these slow seasons, just because I know that I am working on this massive goal, it's caused me to push through. I can't stay in bed. Like I said, around this time last year, I was in bed. What? It wasn't a whole lot of work. I was barely doing the bare minimum. Well, I was doing the bare minimum, but even the bare minimum was okay. Even the bare minimum, I still got it done with the bare minimum. And so I always said, what if I ever had the energy? How awesome. If when I reach my full potential, how awesome could that be? And so that gives me a lot of hope. But even with the bare minimum, my bare minimum is pretty good. What are your favorite challenges so far? Project 129 has been pretty cool. Right now I'm doing what's called it's the Alex Hormozi. Do y'all know who that is? Alex Hormozi. He there's this clip, and I might share it tomorrow with you guys. It's called the 100K 100 day challenge, where for 100 days, you choose one of the three things. You can either spend 100 minutes working on your marketing, which that's what I'm doing for 100 days. I'm spending 100 minutes creating content and posting it. And so whatever I can get done in 100 minutes, that's my goal. But because I also want to utilize my my subscription with Later, because I want to utilize my subscription with Later, which gives me 470 automated posts, which is absolutely ridiculous. I thought, well, I'm gonna get my money's worth, which pans out to be 15 posts a day. That's what I plan to do. And so for my 100 minutes, I am creating 15 posts, which I've had to really make it simple and just do videos and static posts. Okay, and so he says you can do either 100 days of 100 minutes of marketing or 100 days of 100 new contacts. And so that means you're reaching out to 100 different people every day, which I thought, ooh, I could try that, because the way to do that would be email marketing, would be gather, however you want to, gather 100 emails and send them, pitch them your book, pitch them your business, whatever. It's called cold calling or cold contacting. And maybe you can use a platform like ChatGPT to help you with it. I don't know if you're against that. If you're not, try it. Or you can do 100-day ad spend. And so if you're just like, I got resources, I can spend $100 a day on advertising, then you do that. And so he's saying that if you pick one of these three and you're consistently doing these things for 100 days, you should be able to see 100K in 100 days. So I thought, what the hell? I haven't got nothing to lose. I'm going to try it. 100 days. I said what I was going to do is do the 100 days of 100 minutes of marketing, because that's aligned with what I'm already doing with Project 129. And so I'm excited about that. But to date, Project 129 really actually was the first like business challenge that I started, and it's been really the most profitable, as far as like, okay, maybe not profitable, but the most fruitful. So many other things have come from it. So many other ideas and connections have come from it. I don't know if you've seen, I posted earlier just all the books that's coming from Win Publications, and I didn't even, I just be living life. But that's why it's so important. I put on my reminder, like, sit and reflect. Sit and reflect. If you want to come up against your own self-judgment and your own self-critique, which is something that I battle with quite often, is self-reflecting. Look at all the things that you've done. Look and be grateful. You know, when I was going through it around this time last year, one of the practices that I did that I need to get back to is I went throughout my house, and this is is so real. I went throughout my house touching everything, saying, thank you, God, for my desk. Thank you, God, for my bed. I'm so grateful for my bathroom. I'm so grateful for my house. I'm so grateful for my couch. And I just started literally speaking out loud everything that I was blessed with. And by the time that I was done, there was nothing to complain about. Because you know what? When it boils down to it, a lot of people don't have those things. And does that mean that, I have to, just be grateful and not pursue my dreams? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can be grateful and pursue your dreams, right? You can do both. Two things can be true at one point. It doesn't have to be either or. I'm an options girl. I'm an options girl. If something ain't working, I'm quick to try something else. Okay, I don't like to wallow in sadness. I don't like it. I'm not that person that's like, let's look over this problem and figure out how we got to this problem. I'm not that person. Maybe I need to be, no, I'm not that person. I'm like, okay, well, this happened. What's going to be the solution? And if we have to look at the problem to get to the solution, okay, let's do that. But let's get to the solution quick. let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. And that's just how I roll. And I just shared that, but you have to know your own convictions. You have to know what makes you tick. You have to know what's going to be your limit and what's going to be enough for you. And I love these challenges because, like I've been saying, I love a thrill. I love a challenge. I incorporate it into my business. So that way I can show up in other areas of my life peaceful, right? My personal life is so peaceful. Someone asked me the other day, they had messaged me here on Instagram, and they're like, how are you doing? And then they asked me, are you happy? I said, wow. I said, wow, I like that. How am I doing? And am I happy? I said, I'm doing great. Honestly, I said, I'm doing great. Working through some health things, y'all. I struggle with chronic headaches, and for the longest, I thought it was, doctors have just said, oh, it's hormonal. But you guys, I've had my head smashed in tile floor like years ago and never had it looked at. Never had it looked at. So I probably, now that I'm saying out loud, I keep talking about this, I need to go get it checked, right? I need to go get that checked because you should not play with head trauma. But by God's grace, I'm still here and I'm still thriving. I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to do the thing. But what I'm saying is just, two things can be true at once. Two things can be true at once. You can be an amazing author, an amazing writer, and you can also want more for yourself. Don't let people shame you for wanting more. You can tell them, I'm grateful, but I also want more. I'm grateful, but I also know that there's more out there. There's always more. There's always more. There's always more. And you can do that. And so these different challenges encourage me to go for it. To go for it for sure. And I actually first started looking at getting into different business challenges. I think Ian, he's one of the podcasters from Master Investors, or that actually might be his name, Master Investor on Instagram. And one of the things that he said earlier this year was figure out how you're going to make $3 million in the next 3 months. And I was like, what, bro? 3 million in the next 3 months. I said, okay, be for real. 3 million in the next 3 months, but I did. I started thinking about it. In order for me to make $3 million, that means I have to get, it had came out to be like 12,650 eyes on my website or something like that. Something crazy. Which seems crazy talking about it, but right now, what's on my website is about 1% of that. And so I see it as progress, right? Progress. And that was something that I had to come to terms with just even in my own quiet time is I'm making progress. I know what needs to be done. And it's just taking it step by step by step by step. And because I'm a visual person, I've even drew it out, just draw like a little circle, like a thermometer kind of thing. When businesses, like nonprofits have a financial goal, they will kind of use something like a thermometer or like a temperature thing, and they will fill it in as they go till they reach their goal. And so that's what I've done for Project 129. My goal is to make $300,000 in 129 days. I still have 30 days to go, but I've started filling in this thermometer looking thing that I drew out, and I said, okay, so far in the last 100 days, I've made maybe a little over $4,000 in 4 months, which is on par. That's normally what I do. And so but for me, it encourages me because I see that I'm making progress, and I can color it in, every now and then, whenever a client pays their invoice, boom. Okay. Or whenever, something happens and I get some money from somewhere just randomly, boom, I'm coloring it in. And that brings me joy. And so I'm saying, track your progress. Chances are you're doing more than you even realize you're doing, because you just do. And so anyways, you guys, I hope that was helpful. I know I did a lot of talking. tonight. I will save this live and I will rewatch it and cut clips from it that I have found helpful. But I intend to be on Instagram Live every night sharing something. Tonight's focus was on bringing awareness. We've talked about it in different stories. I've shared personal stories. I've shared tips and things like that with y'all. I've answered a few questions. If you're interested in learning more about this, definitely hit that follow button. Definitely share this with others. And I'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Bye.